the stars are aligned. It's 30% down, absolutely cheap interest. Buy it, and I guarantee you, over time, if you wait 5 years, you're going to be in a good place. So the stars are aligned now. The banks are going to get out of the business because they don't get that write-off. So they're going to give it to investors. It'll be better and move slower. I pray every day that the United States government will get out of the housing market. Dear God, get rid of HOFA, get rid of hemp, get rid of short refis, get rid of all these programs. They do not work. They're delaying everything. They're just making people think they can do this, and at the end of the day, they're just keeping this market more depressed. Let these investors come in, buy these properties, take them where they need to go, get them back on the market, get them sold, they're investors. Middle tier of the market, very hot. You know that, very hot. Very hot. Cupertino, Palo Alto, multiple offers, guys, and why? Because these people sense it. They know it's stabilizing, interest rates are low and they're going to go up. And if these are not going to be people that are going to spin it. They're going to buy it. They're not necessarily investors. The investors are the lower end or the real high end of the market. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to stay there 5 years. So it doesn't matter. They know if they just sit there, it'll be okay. And what's happening is a lot of them, and listen, the statistics came out. 33% in the San Francisco Bay Area of everything last month was all cash. We only have 35% foreclosures, but the nation is up to 40%. But even in the nation, it was almost 30% all cash, and it's all either at the very low end where it's investors all cash, or it's basically, and you have a lot of this in the Cupertino, Palo Alto marketplace. So what do you need to say to people? Well, look, they need to understand in that market, it's a competitive market. Here's what counts in the real estate market today. Who are you as the buyer? Because you got to get the loan. I just told you that. It's not about interest. Interest, I can buy down any kind of interest I want. I can find a loan for 2% if I'm willing to pay points. You can buy down interest. It's going to be, do you match up? Are you going to be able to go through the funnel? Who's the seller? Is it a stressed seller, a traditional seller? Is it a bank? Is it an investor? Is it a new developer? Who's your seller? What's the market doing? Days on the market, inventory. Is it going to appraise? Is the lender going to like it? Is it a competitive and negotiating market? All those things count. Oh, and by the way, is the price the right price? See, everybody assumes that. Oh, no. In multi-offer markets, a lot of times they list properties below the right price so they can get a multi-offer. That's the first thing when you go into that kind of a market. Is it the right price? Some markets are overpriced. There's no market. It doesn't matter what you price it at. So all those things count, and you can't price property going in or going out until you know that. But if you are in a multi-offer market, first of all, this is not a good negotiating market. This is not a good market to start at a house that's $500,000 at $32.95 to ask for every term and condition and think you're going to sit at the table and win. You're going to be in a competitive bidding proposition. First thing we have to know is it the right price? Because it's got to get us to the mound, right? Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. That gets you to understand where you need to go. Now look, there's a formula, and the formula is this simple. There's a number, and it depends on the bidders. Now when they say to you, how did you define this formula, how did you get to it? It isn't physics. It's because that's what works, that's why. You're competing against 14 people that want a property. Only one gets it, right? Therefore, we have to come up with a number. It's that simple. We're competing against 13 people. It makes sense to try to figure out what they're going to do and try to come up to a number that can match that or be better. This is not rocket scientists. You don't like this, then quit playing baseball in a football field. Get the hell out. Let's go to a different market. That's why. You don't have your whole life to explain this. So at the end of the day, here's the formula that seems to be working now. The numbers could change. $200,000 to $400,000, $25 a bidder, including your own. Anything 4 to 8, $5,000 a bid, including your own. Anything above $800,000 at $7,500 or $10,000 a bid, including your own. That's the numbers. You go in there strong. You're going to be bidding against all cash. You may want to put some contingencies down. If you can, that's great. If you can't, that's not. Try to find out from the other agent how many bidders there are. If they don't tell you, look at the comps, see what's happening in a specific area. Now let me talk about the high end. And in order to do that, I have to talk a little bit about Silicon Valley. Now, the high end, 2 to 5 million, and after that, all the 5 and up. They will because they can, and I'm going to tell you why. 5 years ago, you never heard of Facebook, right? You never heard of Groupon. You never heard of Twitter. You hardly heard of Google. You never heard of Salesforce.com. And you never heard of Zynga, right? Now, Facebook, in the Wall Street Journal, is worth $75 billion now. What the hell did they do that in 5 years they were $75 billion? You know how long it took General Motors to get there? They never even got there. They went to hell in a handbasket. And what are they worth now, like $20 billion? Now you got this company called Facebook worth $75 billion. Well, at the end of the day, here's what's going to happen, and then I'll relate it to real estate. They had to do something that gave them that value, right? Basically, Silicon Valley is in the next revolution and the next wave of technology. That is why AT&T just bought T-Mobile. Why do you think they bought T-Mobile? They paid $1,000 a subscriber, a premium. Because number one, on the back end, they need the pipe, right? In the back end, they need the capacity to throw things down the pipe. Now let's talk about what they're throwing down the pipe. First of all, you had the clunky computer, then you went wireless, then you had the laptop, then you had the phone. Now we got the smartphone. That's what did it. See, the smartphone, basically everybody can have one. Penetration, 75% of the world, 8 billion people. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It's affordable, it's portable, and it basically is something almost everybody has. Now, what are you going to push down there? You push content down there. Content that's very cheap to basically define. You realize it's cheap to basically produce. Or it's already been produced, but you're formatting it. You're taking information and making it knowledgeable. Gee, you don't need a warehouse to do that. You don't need to have things on a shelf. You don't need to have 5 billion people. You don't need to have 5,000 retail spaces to do that. You just need spectrum and a pipe. Very, very efficient. So number one is businesses have figured out how to make it work efficiency-wise. The second thing is they've also figured out how to cross-sell and upsell people. Because think about it. You go into a store now, they're going to know you're there, right? They're going to go on your phone. They're going to say, hello, you're here today. That phone that you wanted, that laptop, we have one. And today, because you came in, it's going to be 10% off, so come on down. So they'll cross-sell and they'll upsell you when you're in the store, not when you're at home and can't get in. Oh, and by the way, you're going to start to do everything on that phone. Do you realize that? They're now doing not only series, they're not going to give you a movie, they're going to do basically like cable does. They're going to do 3.5 Men or whatever that stupid thing is with Charlie Sheen. They're going to do NCIS, they're going to do Criminal Minds. You're going to be able to see those all on your phone. They're going to push everything down there. Not only games, but information, research, content, movies, anything you want. It's coming on that phone. And everybody uses the phone. Now, the other thing is you're going to walk into a store like Walmart. They do 800,000 people swiping credit and debit cards every day. You're not going to do that in a few months. 18 months from now, you're going to take that phone, you're going to put it on a scanner. You know what the difference is? When they have to pay Master and Visa, they have to pay them 1 to 3% of whatever you charge. When they put it on a phone and scan it, it's 12 cents. Right to their bottom line. Do you realize what that means for them? So they've learned businesses that it's not going to bastardize their business, and in fact it's great. But let's talk about the consumer. See, that was the key. When you get to the consumer, you don't need 8 billion people. You need 4% of 8 billion people because it doesn't require areas, retail, stores, product on a shelf, because here's what. I'm sending you content. Let's talk about Zynga. That's an interesting, you know Zynga, the game company? You know what that is? Zynga does Spaceville, they do Farmville, Cityville, Frontierville, poker, some stupid games, right? How many of you kids play that, Zynga? Nobody here does Zynga? All right, how many of you have an iPhone where you listen to the tunes that play music? Oh, great. Okay, do you know what you gave Apple last quarter in that? $6 billion. $6 billion playing songs that were already recorded. They didn't have to produce them. They didn't have to warehouse them. They didn't have to hire people. They just sent it to you down a pipe. 99 cents to $1.25. You could have gotten a portable radio and run around the track with it. Oh no, but it's cool, and you got to put it in your ear, and you're running around, and you want it, and it's slim, and you buy the next one. So they make money on what they sell you because they upgrade it, right? They upgrade it. It's thinner, it's cooler, it's nicer, it's great, you feel good. It's like Starbucks. You walk in, you feel like you're really bright, okay? At the end of the day, of that $6 billion, $6 billion that you gave Apple, $5 billion went to their bottom line. Are you listening to me? Now, I'm going to equate it to the Starbucks model. Now, let me talk about Starbucks. You think that's a coffee company. No, it's not. It's the best marketing company in the world, okay? It's like Walmart is basically a real estate company. So is McDonald's. They basically own real estate, and you think they're a franchise company, but they're a real estate company. At the end of the day, let me equate Starbucks to the Apple model. See, they took that. See, you walk into a Starbucks, and you basically could get a coffee at Safeway and bring it home, and you could buy Starbucks coffee, but at 5 o'clock in the morning, you hate it because it's cold. You don't feel good. You got to go make the coffee. You get in your car, it's pouring rain. You drive to Starbucks. You will get out. You walk in, the music, the ambiance, the aroma of the coffee. People are reading the Wall Street Journal. Somebody's playing on the BlackBerry. Another nut's got the iPhone in there. And you feel, my God, I'm with the smart people in Silicon Valley. They're all here. I'm part of this group. Jesus, gosh, I'm good. And you stand there in line and you're listening, and this one's talking about this deal, this one's talking about that, and the Wall Street Journal, and oh my God, AT&T. Oh my God, this is great. This is like an adrenaline rush. And you're patient. We're not patient. If you're in Walmart, you'd be screaming and yelling. I like my goddamn toilet paper here. Get somebody machine, and it's an Italian machine. God forbid it should be American, because the Italians make the best coffee machines in the world. And it does this, oh, and you just love that, because that's for you. And they put it in a cup. It's a plastic cup. Hey, you at a Jack in the Box, you get that Cuckoo Clown in a plastic cup, you want to throw it in the guy's face. But this is just a plastic cup, same thing, same company. And you know what they gave you? This much coffee. The rest is all foam at the top. Don't you get it? It's all foam. You pay $5, $3 for a bunch of foam. But hey, the best thing they do, they give it to you. And you know how smart they are? They put a band around it. And that band says Starbucks. You want that band. Because when you walk into your office, you want everybody to know it's Starbucks. And that band let everybody know you're a Starbucks person. See, you could buy that at Jack in the Box for 99 cents, but then you'd have the Cuckoo Clown. You don't want anybody to know that. So they are the best marketing people in the world. Because they have convinced you, you walk in there and you get an experience. They have convinced you to pay more for 10% of coffee in a cup that's 90% foam. But it's Italian foam, so it's got to be better. And they have then convinced you all day to walk around with their company name so that you're advertising for them. Apple did it just the same. You buy that because it's an Apple. I guarantee you. You could go out and buy 15 others that would work just as well, but you will buy that Apple. I know because I have stupid children that do that every day. Now, Senga, they give you city bill. You know that. They give it to you, right? Oh, great. But they don't give you anything in the city. So you got to buy the paths and the park and the city and the neighborhood and the police department, and you got to buy the skyscrapers, and you do that at 99 cents. And you know what? You go to bed, somebody destroys your neighborhood. You got to get up and buy another one. Now listen to this. 100 million people a day do that. And they do it 6 times. 100 million times 6 times 99 cents. Nothing. No product. No inventory that they have to keep. It's a stupid neighborhood they send you. Are you getting it? Now you understand why it's worth so much. Now let's relate it to real estate. Okay. These companies now, Senga worth $7 billion. Groupon took $6 billion from Google and said, take it and shove it. They now are raising $20 billion. Facebook, $75 billion. Now see, here's the difference. Mark Zuckerman and Facebook's is the new age, 25 to 45-year-olds. See, we've all been trained to sell to baby boomers. Now they're an interesting group, the baby boomers. 75 million of them, big, big spenders, big wage earners. Bigger's better, bling. Show my success. I will go out there. I don't care. I'll just buy it, right? Not these 25-year-olds. Oh, they're going to make money. They're culturally diverse. They don't buy a house till they're 30. They're going to have a lot of money. But they look at the numbers. See, the baby boomers were 80% emotion, 20% the dollars. This group is 80% the dollars, 20% the emotion. See, Mr. Zuckerman did not make $75 billion because he's out there with the puff on the top. He made it on the 10% that's at the bottom. So let me tell you what they're going to do. They're all either going to go public or they're going to find private investors. You do know that. And most of them do private investing first, where they sell their stock to somebody else out there because it's too difficult to go public. But they will go public. Now, because they're going to wait to go public, they're going to buy their houses differently. Now, let me tell you what they're going to do. They are going to come along, and in the next 18 months, you're going to have 300 or 400 millionaires and billionaires created in Silicon Valley, because all of these companies are going to go private money or they're going to go public. Trust me, next 18 months to 2 years. That's the end game. Of course it is. Now, the smart ones are going to be basically people who will come in, they'll buy the middle tier, they'll pay all cash, whatever. That's your middle tier market. But the ones that have the big bucks, let me tell you what they're going to do. The problem with buying a $4 or $5 million house is you get $10 million in stock, right? You got to sell it if you're going to pay all cash, right? And so you got to pay cash, you got to pay tax on that. So the 4 or 5 million is going to cost you 6 or 7. No, they're not going to do that. What they're going to do is buy the house, pay cash, they're going to start to play the stock, and I'll tell you why. Because most of it's coming from private investors, and they know that the stock will be worth more in 18 months to 2 years if it goes public. They want to hold on to the stock, and they want to play the stock. So they're going to go down to a stock brokerage. They're going to go down to a Goldman Sachs or Merrill Lynch or one of those places, and they're going to go up to a derivative desk. Oh, you've heard that word, derivative, how we play. The difference is they're going to play smart. They're going to say, okay, here's 10 million bucks. Public company worth at least 2 million. That's the criteria. I'm going to give you my 10 million. I want you to give me a $10 million loan. Now, you're going to hold that stock, Goldman Sachs, so it's not going to get sold, so we're not going to pay any tax. It's deferred. I got my 10 million now. I can buy a house here, and I can go buy something in Carmel. Now I bought my house. Now I'm going to play the stock with you. We're going to become partners because here's what I think. I think 3 years from now, that stock will be worth more than it is now. And I want to make enough money on that stock to basically get back what I paid for the house and get the taxes I have to pay. So now I'm going to play the stock. And I'm going to make a partnership with you, and we're going to be partners now. So I'm willing to sign a contract with you, 1, 2, or 3 years, all right? And in that 3-year period, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to set a price. The stock today is $100, okay? If the stock goes up from 100 to 120, I'm going to get that. Anything above 120, you, the house, gets. I'm going to minimize my downside risk. Anything from 100 to 90, I'll write you a check. After that, you eat it. So here's what they've done. They've gotten cash. They basically are going to buy the house. They basically have set an upside ceiling for themselves, a downside cap. They're going to make sure in working the numbers what they think is going to happen to that stock, so that when the contract comes due and they have to pay the taxes then, they will pay the taxes, have enough money that they've made in the stock because they believe in their company going public, that they will have enough to walk away free and clear. Now, the derivative desk starts shorting along in the stock, and so do they. So do you understand what I'm saying? It's all about asset building and wealth building. They're going to buy real estate, but they're going to do it realistically, conservatively. They are going to leverage it, but here's the difference. The idiots that bought it in 2000, I love it when these people sit down and I'm at a party and they say, well, I bought a house and I lost it. No, you didn't buy a house. The Bank of America bought the house. You put nothing in it. You ATM'd it. Now you basically think that you can't have it. It was a loan. The lease was the loan. Now you got kicked out. These people will leverage the property too, but they're going to pay all cash. They're going to leverage it on their stock. They're going to do it intelligently. They're wealth builders. I guarantee you that's how they're going to do it. I guarantee you that's how they're going to do it. So you have what I call the new world of real estate out there. Not only is it a great asset and they'll buy it, because believe me, they understand one thing. They don't want $300 million in one stock. They're going to diversify their portfolio. How do you do that? Well, stocks, bonds, you buy real estate. So they're going to be out there buying it, but they're going to buy it differently than their baby boomer parents. They are different people. They're different creatures. Think about that. They're very sophisticated. They're very smart. They work the numbers. 80–90% of everything they live is numbers all day long. Watch them. You've seen them. So at the end of the day, here's what I think about real estate. I think it's a great asset. I think the next 18 to 24 months this place will be on fire. I think you have to understand who your client is. So what do you do for a living? I don't think you list and sell real estate. A dog can do that. I think it's great that you take people out and you go out in your nice fancy cars and you do open houses, and of course you should be doing all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to understand who your client's going to be. These are wealth builders. You show them how you can help them build wealth through an asset called real estate, how you can help them minimize the risk, how you can basically build wealth, and you become a client for life. The other thing that you bring to the table that they don't know, you show them what side of the table to sit on. It's never a bad day in real estate. How can it be? Today people are making money. People are losing money in real estate. There's a buyer, there's a seller. It's where you sit, how you finance it, where you buy it with value, when you know when to hold it, when you know when to fold it. That's how you make money in real estate. That's what you know that they don't. That's what they'll buy for. So at the end of the day, I'm very positive about real estate. All right, last thing. I did a book. I don't know why. It was a gruesome thing. But anyway, I brought it because I promised you guys that when I did, I would bring it. I have them here. I'll autograph them. They're $10. You don't have to buy them, but I bring them with me because everybody asked for them. It kind of talks about this. It's called Real Estate Unleashed. It's about the new world of real estate and what you need to do. So if you want it, I'm going to be in a conference room back there, and I'm happy to do that. As always, what can I say? You know, I love this company, and I love Gino. I was just with Gino last week. And I have to say that I admire this company and admire all of you. It's very tough to start a company. It's very tough when basically you go through a transition, when you get bought out, or a partner basically that was a partner walks away. And all of a sudden you just have the grit and determination of all the wonderful managers here. But at the end of the day, and I think they would agree with that, it's the people in the company that make it. If you guys hadn't hung in here, if you guys didn't love Intero, if you guys didn't feel that you were doing something special here, it wouldn't have mattered what all the rest of them did. So I admire that. I admire the people in companies because that's the heart. And I was at your basically awards dinner. I saw the passion, the energy. You have a good, strong heart. And you know what? Real estate is going to reward all of you. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.